welcome. Today I'm talking about your environment. I am in the beautiful Tucson Botanical Garden in Tucson, Arizona. It's about 37 degrees Celsius. It's warm, but not really where I'm sitting because there's a lot of cover from the trees that surround me. Now, if you're lucky enough to live in an environment where you can just go outside and enjoy the green space around you, you're extremely fortunate because it is the green space around you that will help you recharge, regenerate, heal, all that wonderful stuff. Now, if you're in the city and say you're in an apartment or something like that, you can bring that green space into your space by having potted plants in your environment, not plastic ones. That's the lazy route. You could have food plants out on the balcony if you have that. If you have access to the rooftop, you can put plants up there as well. But I want you to think about some of the times in your life where you were feeling really low and what you did about it. I know when I feel really off or really strange, if I'm in a green space, I'll go into that area and I'll meditate and I'll connect with the planet and I will ask Mother Earth for a healing session. As I say that, the wind came up, and it's blowing some weird energy away, and it feels so good. So today I'm wearing my beautiful butterfly hat from Magic Happens Metaphysical in Stony Plain, Alberta. I'm just looking off to the right, my right, your left, just because as I started making my video, some people came in. So usually when people come into the space, it means they just want to share energy of the space. And so that's just fine with me. Because remember, we're meant to learn how to share space with other people. Look at this. This is so cool as I'm talking about sharing space. This beautiful light comes in and it's just like, oh, that is the way. Oh my God, I love it. So some interesting things happen when I make videos. When I used to make videos on my acreage there in Alberta, just located west of Edmonton, would have these flashes of blue lights, like that would just show up. And if you watch some of my early videos here on YouTube, you'll see those flashes of light, and it's like so interesting. And see now, it just depends where I sit. So, thinking about your environment, think about how you can just alter how you feel just by stepping outside, or like what I'm doing, I'm RVing right now. This is my 4th month on the road, and I always need to reconnect with this planet. So when I'm in cities, like in Tucson, I find out where these botanical areas are, and I go to them. And so this is my 2nd time being here. It feels so good. And as I'm making this video, I have butterflies flying around me. There was a hummingbird just a while ago, and oh yes, I have little bugs biting my legs, so that's interesting. And one way to overcome that is to have garlic, raw garlic, every day, about 2 cloves, maybe 3, depending on your weight and your size. Just, if you're a little one, like a clove is good, a medium size 2. If you're carrying a little more gravity, 3 is probably good. You can also muscle test for that, or you can use a pendulum to dose to see how much garlic your body needs. So think about the environment that you create around you, whether it's in your house or outside, and think how it adds to your life. Now, if you're in an area where you're not enjoying your life, it just shows that it's time for you to move. Now, I know that happened to me in the spring of this year. I just woke up one day and I just wasn't happy. Even though I love my acreage, it was so beautiful. In the summertime, it was just like a park. It was so green. I just didn't want to be there anymore. And so decided to just go on the road and see some of the world. And here I am in Arizona. It's my 5th state that I'm visiting. And this is where this video is going with the environment, the discussion about the environment, because I really thought I would love Colorado, and as I drove through it, I did not. A terrible experience there when I had my navigator find a rest area for us to just hang out at. It did not end up being restful at all. It was probably the worst drive of this whole trip. 2 days in like really steep mountain roads with a motorhome towing a trailer. Not my idea of a good time. So hightailed it out of there, went into New Mexico. And oh, wow, when I got to New Mexico, I loved it because there's a lot of extraterrestrial activity there. And if you've never had the chance to go just into New Mexico to see what it feels like, you have to do it if you're interested in that sort of thing. And I certainly am, because I know we are not alone. So after New Mexico, we went over to Texas because after being in such a dry area, even though it's the monsoon season, I knew I had to get near water. So I went over to Texas, down just southeast of Houston. And oh my goodness, that environment did not match my energy at all. I had bugs biting me like crazy, and that's when I started the scarlet thing. So anyways, I decided, well, I had a long stay there for a month, and then right after that I hightailed it out of Texas. And as I was leaving Texas, my energy changed. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, depending on if you're lucky enough to live in different environments. Just pay attention to how you felt when you lived in those areas. I thought, well, Texas is not really a match because I had been there earlier on in the 90s, no, in the 2000, the year 2000. And it wasn't an energy match there in the northern part of Dallas, and then this trip was down in the southeastern part. Again, it just wasn't an energy match for me. So think about that. If you're living in an area where you're not happy, you feel like your life is boring, unfulfilled, it's just signifying it's time for you to move. Now, it doesn't mean you have to move out of the entire state or province or wherever you're living, in the country even. It just means that you need to go and find out where you do belong. So as we crossed from Texas into New Mexico, I felt better. And then we kept driving the next day, and when we crossed into Arizona, it was really interesting because we came up around Tucson, and there were so many things to do for us, for my son and myself. And so it was like a wonderful environment for us to be in. Just giving us what we want. It has a botanical garden, it has tons of butterflies, it has Costco. I like to shop at Costco. And it had a used Lego store for my son called Brooks and Minifigs. So there's lots of things here that were amazing. And it also has a really great Savers store. So Savers is just like Value Village in Canada. I like to buy my clothing there just because it doesn't end up in a landfill then. It's a reduced price, and it's really helping support my environment, like wherever I live. So that's something that you are meant to think about too. What mark do you leave on the world? And how do you want to be remembered? Because if you don't think about that, your life may not have as much meaning as you want it to. That's just a thought. Doesn't mean you have to do that, right? So I'm hoping that today, after you watch this video, you think about your environment. How fulfilled do you feel in it? Are you supported by the environment itself? Are you supported by the people? Are you supported by friends, families? Or are people urging you to change your ways, change your location, change your, change your relationships? It's really, as you go through your life, you're meant to think about where you are right now and where you would like to be. And as I go on this journey, this RVing journey, I'm going to be posting a lot more videos here on YouTube just to keep you in the loop of where I am, how the environment is affecting me, and what I am on the way to create. Because in this life, you are meant to be a creator with the Creator. You're meant to create your own reality. So think about where you're living, who you're with, what your environment is like, and is it supporting you or is it urging you to leave? That is a very important thing to consider. Thank you for watching.